Hey guys, FilmCrazyAdam here. To those of you that have just stumbled across this channel, I appreciate you rolling the dice and I hope you enjoy what you see. To those of you that continue to roll the dice for some reason, I really appreciate you coming back. I hope I can continue to entertain you, and I hope you continue to enjoy what you see. Anyway, pleasantries out of the way, let's get to the video that you really came to see. Well, at least this show is consistent. This show is bad. It's really, really bad. I mean, like, it's so bad. This episode, like, first episode was bad. Second episode was badder. This episode is badder. It's, like, each episode is trying to one-up the one prior to that. I can't believe how bad each one gets progressively. Like one episode, like you can even point and say that like the episodes were bad for different reasons, but I mean the consistency of just going downhill is amazing. Like, did they plan this? Was this on purpose? It's like, usually I have notes and everything, but I got no notes right now. There's no notes on my screen right now. There's nothing there. Because I don't know where to go with this one. Like, don't get me wrong. You're not going to just see me ranting and raving with no focus. I mean, I got a point. And I'm going to point at specific points in the episode and break down this and that. But I mean, like, it's so mind-boggling how just awful this TV show is. Like, the quality, there's no quality whatsoever. Somewhere in California, somewhere in Los Angeles, in Burbank, there were executives. There were people. There were humans. There were adults that looked at this script and looked at this final product and said, that's it. That's perfect. That's it. That's what we want. This is gold. People actually said that. People actually greenlit this. People actually gave the go-ahead on this stuff. And it's amazing. It's amazing how bad this episode was. Now, this series is supposed to be a comedy, or so I'm told. But up until now, like episode 1, episode 2, you can kind of... I can point to things like, I think that was supposed to be funny. Maybe? But pretty much, like, there's been no comedy in this comedy show at all in the last 2 episodes. This one, I think they really tried to pour it on, but didn't know what they were doing. Now, maybe you know this, maybe you don't know this, but the entire writing team for this show was comprised of nothing but women, and it shows. There were no men whatsoever. Does that sound sexist? Probably. But when you watch this show, you can definitely, like, it's through the lens and the mind of a mid-30s woman who basically didn't win the lottery. You know, there was nothing remarkable about any of the people who wrote this. And so, like, they're really kind of like self-inserting themselves and their experiences into this show. Not only that, but like, these are women that don't know how men speak. Like, I would hope that you would get like a guy in there just to be like, do guys speak like this? Because you have the one character in this show who is a caricature, is a bad caricature, is an unfunny, bad caricature of a guy. If you want to take all the bad qualities, the low-life qualities of a guy, and like really like boil them down to like their essence, and then like give it human form, that's this character.
Mallory Book is also in the Superhuman Law Division.
Yeah. No, I can't talk to a 10 about embarrassing man stuff. She could be my next fiance.
He's so unrealistic. He's so unlikable, and there's nothing about him that like, there's no reality to him. Like, I can't watch this show and be like, even for a heartbeat, kind of like be able to identify or be able to look at this guy and take him seriously as a character that they're pushing as like, no, this guy's real. You know, like people would not, like, a guy, you know, the vast majority of guys don't speak like this. Unless like you're a college bro or you were brought up in like the lap of luxury and you have no point of reference with normal people who actually work for their money. And so like you're just like affluent as hell. Like maybe those people talk like that. But this guy isn't one of those people. Like he's not a college bro. He's not someone affluent. Like if he was affluent, he wouldn't be a lawyer. If he was a college bro, he wouldn't be a lawyer. Like this is a college bro. Like college bros that like have no regard for women at all, who just treat them as objects, and those people exist, would not be a high-powered lawyer in a firm in Los Angeles. So like there's nothing realistic about this guy. Like I hate him not because he's misogynistic. I hate him because he's not real. Because he's so bad. The character is so bad and one-dimensional and just universally one note. I mean, like it's not even like he doesn't know that he's an asshole. Like he knows he's an asshole. And yet he speaks what's on his mind anyway. So like I hate this show because of their portrayal of men. It's so unrealistic. It's so stupid. It's so bad. Let's also, and like not just that, but like let me show you these images of the She-Hulk. This is bad. This is really, really bad. This CGI, my God. I mean, I have no words. My brain is literally, the gears are grinding and nothing's engaging because like I'm trying to think of an analogy. I'm trying to think of a point of reference. I'm like, how are the graphics this bad in 2022? When you are Marvel, who is owned by Disney, who I've said in my last She-Hulk review, you've got mouse money. You've got empire money. You've got money means nothing to you. It has no meaning. You snap your fingers and things happen. That's how much money you have. You want to go to the moon? You could. Disney hasn't yet, but they could. Easily. This weekend they could. But no, like, how? Like, look at this She-Hulk as she walks through. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I've heard in other reviews on other movies, specifically Frozen, actually, where when they make a CGI character these days, there's like a master file. Like, there's a master model of the character. 3D, fully rendered, has all the characteristics, has all the features, and it's saved in a master file. And so when you need it in a scene, you literally go to the file and you pull it out and you drop it in the scene. There's no recreation. There's no starting from scratch. It's not like 2D animation back in the day where you literally had to draw a million pictures and you had to try to make each one similar to the other, but each single sheet of paper, you were starting from scratch. You were starting from scratch and drawing the same character all over again by hand. That's not how it is anymore. You make a full rendered 3D model and that's saved as a master file, and then when you just need it, you pull it up and you just drop it into the scene. So why does she look different? Like, why is her body type? Why is everything different? And like the suit that she's in, it doesn't look like it fits her. Not only that, but the body type doesn't even look like her. Like, look at those shoulders. My God. Look at those. Like, holy crap. It does nothing. Like, that's not a fitted suit. Like, where did she get that suit where it's not fitted? She's a high-powered lawyer. How does she not have a fitted suit? She got a suit. God, she just looks so bad. How? How is this a thing? I can't get past this. See, this is the sort of thing that, like, this episode is just chock full of crap. Like, what the fuck am I watching? What is that? What the hell is that? Like, okay, so let's talk about the episode. So let's fast forward to about 5 minutes into the episode, because honestly, the first the first 5 minutes is just filler. First, we have a flashback, and this is what we've been up to, or like previously on, and then there's of course the Marvel logo opening, and then Jen runs over to, she runs back to jail to talk to Blonsky, who tells her like, yeah, I didn't leave here of my own free will. Wong kind of pulled me out of here for some test. I don't know, but yeah, that happened. And then we cut to her friend just sitting on a windowsill, because, adult paralegals do that. They sit in their friend's office, or I don't know, maybe this is her office. But yeah, they just sit up on a windowsill because, that's what adults do. And then we cut to Jen, who's in her car, who's doing the Ferris Bueller narration thing. And I don't know, why did she let go of the wheel? I mean, I know nothing happens, but it's such a head scratcher. I'm like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing it this way? Even Deadpool and even Ferris Bueller, both of them, they exist. Ferris Bueller existed in the world and spoke to the audience, but didn't stop what he was doing. He didn't disobey the laws of physics. Deadpool also really doesn't disobey the laws of physics. He just acknowledges the fact that he's a comic book, and he knows that people are reading him or watching him. So he just talks to them and says inside jokes to them that the rest of the universe around him doesn't comprehend. Like in Deadpool 1, when he talks about which professor are we going to see, Colossus is just like, the hell are you talking about? It doesn't register to the people within the comic books that he's talking about fourth wall stuff, that he's talking about meta stuff. But they still obey the laws of physics. What? So why is what? Why? Why does? Just go with it. Moving on. So then, of course, there's a whole bunch of media stuff where it's oh yeah, people have opinions, and she's in the news and stuff. And then, like I said, we get into her office where she just looks terrible. She just looks terrible. And then she's called to her boss's office, where she meets that guy. I don't remember his name. I don't give a shit what his name is. And then he just says this.
Mallory Book is also in the Superhuman Law Division.
Yeah. No, I can't talk to a 10 about embarrassing man stuff. She could be my next fiance.
And again, it's just so... it's just so bad. And then when she finds out what he's doing there... So he was catfished. And she literally laughs in his face.
He's been defrauded by an ex-girlfriend and wants to file a suit against her to get his money back. Yeah. The girlfriend in question is a shape-shifting light elf from New Asgard.
Wow, Dennis.
Okay. What part of shapeshifter did you not get?
So sorry.
Because she thinks that, how can you not have realized that you were being catfished? Now, I'm not defending the guy. I'm just mad at her reaction. It's like a fourth grader. It really is. She's like, oh, you got, look at you. You got catfished. Oh, that's so pathetic, you loser. Laughs in his face that he's getting catfished. Really professional, Jen. You're a professional lawyer in the big city, in Los Angeles, and you laughed in this client's face. Granted, you know him from your previous job. But again, really, you're top-notch professionalism. Thank you. And then Wong shows up, just randomly shows up, and they go back to her office. He basically confirms what Blonsky said. He's like, yeah, no, I told him to do that because I needed to pass the test and become Sorcerer Supreme. And he acts so goofy in this scene. Yes, he acts so just goofy. Here's one of the things, is that Wong in this scene acts like an idiot. He acts like a moron. He acts like Buzz Lightyear in the first Toy Story movie, where Buzz Lightyear thinks he's Buzz Lightyear from the movie or whatever, and so he thinks that everything around him is a planet, is an alien planet, and that he's an actual spaceman doing exploration, and that he somehow it can't break through his psyche that he's a toy, despite the fact that everyone says you're a toy. Until, of course, later where he sees the commercial and da-da-da. If you haven't seen Toy Story, you're an idiot and go see it. The first one, at the very least. First, second, and third. Those are good. So, like, he comes in, and you can't even, like, say, like, well, he's Wong. You know, he's this guy that lives up in a Carmitage, and, you know, he's so removed from humanity, and, like, he's isolated, and so he has no point of reference for modern life. Yeah, he does. Doctor Strange. He's good friends with Doctor Strange. He knows Doctor Strange. He lives with, you know, like, he's not an idiot. Wong is not some fucking idiot. But he acts like one in this episode. He acts like he doesn't know anything about the modern world when he does. Like, he might not live in New York, but at the very least he lives in China. They got electricity there. They've got the internet there. You know, he's not an idiot. But they treat him like he's some moron that, like, doesn't know the real world. I mean, is he, like, as versed in it as, you know, you or me? Maybe not, but he's not so removed that he doesn't know how shit works. And he really does come across as an idiot. Like, when Jen tries to explain stuff to him, is he intentionally being woefully obtuse? Like, what's... Just go with it. Just go with it. I don't want to go with it, but we're going to go with it. Moving on. So the reason why he's there is because he got catfished, like I said, by a shapeshifter. Specifically a light elf from New Asgard. And so he's talking to one of Jen's new co-workers, another lawyer in the same department as her. And again, this guy is so not real. He's not a real person. I'm not saying that a lawyer like him wouldn't have $175,000 just laying around. But, like, the other lawyer even points out that's like, wow, that's about as much as a house in most places in this country. Like, you just drop that sort of money on somebody else. Again, if you had that much money, you wouldn't be a lawyer. Or, I mean, like, you could be a lawyer, but your name would be on the office. It would be his name plus da-da-da-da and Esquire and stuff. Like, he wouldn't just be a guy on the team. He wouldn't just be one of our lawyers. His name would be on the front of the building. He dropped in the neighborhood of $250,000 on some chick. Now, let's not get into the fact that the person that he thinks that he is dating, that he's being catfished by, is a high profile rapper. Somebody who already has millions of dollars. So, like, for her to ask him, like, hey, can I borrow almost $250,000, literally makes no sense. That leads to the unrealism of this character. You know, the fact that, like, you know that women wrote this guy because women don't know, like, or at least these women who wrote them have no idea how actual men talk. But also just, like, even if you're, like, taking the gender out of the equation, like, how can you be that stupid as a writer? Like, how? I mean, there are gullible people out there. There are stupid people out there. You can find countless news stories about somebody that was catfished, but usually it's by somebody who's like, they would get a message saying, oh, yeah, we have your grandchild, and we're holding them ransom. We need you to send us Apple gift cards and stuff. Usually that's the case, as opposed to this case where I don't know if they really ever, they didn't really say it directly. They didn't really spell it out, but I don't think that I don't know if this was supposed to be a long distance relationship. It kind of implied that he met with her. In most cases where people get catfished and they get screwed out of all their money, it's because it's a long distance thing. It's somebody they met on the internet, but they've never actually met in person. And they're like, oh, I've been kidnapped, and, like, now I'm in Western Europe somewhere, and they're not letting me leave unless I give them, you know, I give them $10,000 in iTunes cards. You know, they took my passport, and they're not going to give it back unless you give me $10,000. That's usually what happens. Again, this character is so unrealistic because he knows who she is. She is a rapper, a well-known rapper, a very successful rapper, somebody who has millions of dollars. So why does she need to borrow over $100,000, nearly $200,000. Again, nearly $250,000 from him. Why does he buy her a car? The one thing that Jen points out is like, you thought she drove a Passat or something? It's like, you bought her a car. You thought that rapper drives this car. Really? But like, my brain keeps like slipping back into it's not real. It's not real. It's so it's so bad that it's unwatchable. This show because of him. In this episode, it's unwatchable because of him. Like, no one is that stupid. That being said, and he has a good argument. He's like, I didn't know it wasn't her. And Jen's like, how did you know it wasn't her? Like, how could you know it's not her? She was a shapeshifter. So that's where I'm assuming that like he actually met up with her. So like, if the person shows up in front of you, like the actual person, the literal actual person who sounds and talks and looks exactly like that person in the flesh, in real life, in front of you that you touch, or can touch, if it walks and quacks and so on and so forth, it's a duck. So like Jen being like laughing in his face and like making fun of him, like oh, you're such a loser. How did you not know? It's like, because she was physically there. I didn't ask for her social security number because it's not polite, though. I mean, his character is an asshole, so he would. But so, God, my brain just did that thing again where it slipped and it just broke for a second. Yeah. Again, damn it. Wow. This is hard. So, yeah, like, him dropping all this money on somebody who has all this money, who buys her a car, like a cheap-ass car, too, or, like, I mean, relatively speaking, for a millionaire, a cheap-ass car. And, the lawyer's like, you just dropped about as much as, like, what some houses cost in our country. And he just waves up, like, yeah, whatever. So, again, like, if you have this money, why are you a lawyer? Or at least, why are you not the head of the firm? And moving on. Just go with it. In the same scene, so like the guy walks out and the elf walks in as him and basically says, never mind, I changed my mind. I don't want to press charges. And that's when his lawyer gets a call from him saying, yeah, man, I don't know where my car is. It's been towed. And so like we're now introduced to this shape-shifting elf. And I don't know how old the elf is supposed to be. Like, physically, whoever that is like 50-something. And they act like a child. They act like seriously, they act like a 4-year-old. Why? Why does she act so infantile? Why does she act so immature? God, this sucks. God, this is so bad. So Jen goes back to the high security prison. And when she does, she goes through the most idiotic, I was about to say paparazzi, but they're actually supposed to be real newscasters. And they ask her the dumbest questions, the most idiotic questions. Like, all right, I don't watch live TV anymore. I haven't watched live news in probably a decade. I read my news on the internet and I'll watch news stories there. But like, do people actually ask these questions? Like outside of actual jails and actual trials? Is this a thing? Are the questions really this stupid? I can't. But she goes into this jail, and then Blonsky's container gets lowered, and he's part of this prison pen pal thing, and you have all these flower children. You have all these women walking with these flower crowns, and like they're these hippies. Like, they're freaking hippies, and like what? I don't know. It's so bizarre that, not that he's got like a fan club, that evidently he's going to go into some kind of monogamous relationship or polyamorous relationship after he gets out with all these women and they're cool with it. It's so bizarre though that they all dress exactly the same. It's so freaking weird. And you've got this, I don't know, what am I looking at here? You've got this panel of people. Are they judges? Are they administrators at the jail? Are they psychologists? Like, what am I looking at here? What are these people? it's never really established. I mean, like, you're intended to believe that they're judges because Jen addresses them as, the people in charge. Maybe this is the parole hearing. I'm no law student or anything, but is that what this is? Is this a parole hearing? Do lawyers usually come to parole hearings? So, like, Jen's like, oh, yeah, I've got basically a star witness. Like that. See, this is where my confusion comes in. This is supposed to be his trial. I believe it's supposed to be his trial, not his parole hearing. It ends up being a parole hearing because he gets paroled at the end, spoilers. But she's like, I have testimony from another person that says he didn't do it of his own free will. I've never been to jail, so I don't know how parole hearings really work. I've watched pretty much all of Law and Order SVU, so there's some in there. I've watched Bull, so that's like a courtroom procedural. I don't know. I'm so confused with this scene. I don't know what the hell's going on. But the entire time, she acts like an idiot. She acts like she's trying to improvise. Like, not like improvise like on the spot, like, oh crap, stuff went wrong and I gotta figure something out. She's improvising like she's on stage, which don't give me that argument like, well, you're on the world stage and you're in the heat of the moment, and so you do have to improvise. No. There is serious improvisation where everything goes sideways and you're like, I gotta fix this, and you think of something to do, and then I was given very little by the director, but I have to kind of make something up for this scene, like Saturday Night Live. That's what this is. That's what she does. She drags in this entire lineup of people who claim that Blonsky helped them from jail, like find Jesus and stuff, and become better people, and I don't know. And so, like, you have all this overwhelming evidence that this guy is a nice guy now. In the show, he seems like a nice guy. I'm paranoid because I don't know what to do. Like, all right, because he's a guy, I'm going to assume the worst. That he's just playing a part, that as soon as he gets out, he's going to rampage and he's going to destroy a city. Now, if this was a better written show, I would actually be like, I would kind of be on the fence. I'm like, he was a bad guy, but maybe he's one of those characters that did actually flip around and, like, saw the error in his ways. It happens in plenty of literature and plenty of other shows where the bad guy becomes a good guy. It happens. But because this show is what it is, I can safely assume that he's just playing a part and he's going to go on a rampage at some point. I'm calling my shot now. But so, like, there is literally nothing bad to be said about this guy. He was a model prisoner, and he's helped all these people outside of jail, and he's got all these pen pals that are ready for him to come out, that they will provide for him financially, that they are going to be part of his commune, that they are going to love him, and that he is going to work on his commune, and it's going to be a spiritual center. And he's promised that I turn into the abomination by choice, which I choose not to anymore. I don't want to do that. And all this is literally just to stall until Wong gets there, because Wong doesn't. Somehow he can find Jennifer Walters on the Earth. Like, how did he find her in her office? Well, he's got magic. He can target people. I'm assuming that, because how else did Doctor Strange find Tony in Infinity Wars in Central Park? He just kind of like shows up. So I'm assuming it's magic, and you can just track people. So that's not the hard part. But there's no explanation. He's just not there on time, and like they have to stall for hours. Where did Jen find this lineup of people? If her entire defense of this guy was, well, I got Wong to say that he forced him to leave, has anyone talked about the fact that he left this highly fortified and maximum security prison, and that nobody knew about it? You're telling me that when Wong abducted this guy, allegedly abducted, no, Wong said he did. He abducted this guy, brought him to the Shang-Chi movie, and fought him in a death match so that he could become the official Sorcerer Supreme in a test. Why did Wong, like, I don't remember Doctor Strange needing to have a death match with somebody. I mean, I guess you can argue that he fought Dormammu. Was that his name? Dormammu? He fought that guy in his own movie. He fought that guy. He won. So maybe that's what counts. And so, like, maybe Wong has to do a death match also. And so, like, he abducts Abomination from jail, brings him to Shanghai or China. Why? Why did he bring him all the way there to have a death match? And you're telling me that, like, Wong couldn't have found anyone else. You couldn't have found anyone else to have a death match with. Like, it had to be Abomination. Whatever. Just roll with it. But so, he abducted him. Even if it was for like 3 minutes. Everyone would have lost their minds in this jail. You know, there's video cameras on this guy. There's probably motion sensors or like weight plates. There's security in place. They got lasers at this prison. They at least have a camera on the guy. And so when he left the prison, you're telling me like no one knew about this? No one in the prison had any idea that he was missing. Because like when the video footage drops in the last episode, in episode 2, with Abomination doing the death match in China, it's a newsflash to everybody, including the people in the prison, like, I don't remember him leaving. How did he leave? No one knows. Yes, that actually happened. That was not for dramatic effect. I actually did just get pissed. Really pissed. Again. But so yeah, like, no one knows that no one realized that he was missing until this video dropped. That the people in the prison didn't know he was, like, that is the implication. That is 100% how the show presents it, that no one knew that he was missing. Not even the people at the prison. Not even the guards that are physically in the room with him, because there's like 24-hour physical guards in there to watch him. This is just so stupid. It's just so stupid. So mind-blowingly stupid. But yeah, so Jen has been stalling this whole time until Wong hopefully shows up. So I don't know where the hell she got this lineup of people that vouched for him. Like, where the hell did she get that? Were they there? Was that part of the plan? It's never set up. Like, when she's in her office earlier on, it's not like, well, I've got Wong, but I've also got all these other people as well, just in case, you know, just to fortify and like really reinforce how this guy has changed, to give a good argument to the judges or the parole board. I don't know. But it's never established. And like I said, you can, like I've said in previous reviews and previous videos, that like, you don't need to spell everything out for me right up in right up in front. You don't need to give me everything all at once. You can leave questions as long as you answer them later. But in this instance, it's like, where did these other people come from? It's never answered. She doesn't set it up and she doesn't explain it later. They just show up. They're just there. And I don't know if it's just, I mean, it is bad writing. It's so bad, the writing. But I don't know if it's like, if it was an edit or like they just didn't think of it. And I don't know if any of these writers have actually watched a legal drama ever. When there's dozens out there that you could watch through the decades. There's plenty of different legal dramas. And not even like dramas. You can watch like reality stuff. You can watch Judge Judy, who's awesome. I love her. But anyway, so getting back to the other story that's taking place, you have the elf in court with the idiot. And then the elf impersonates a judge. Yeah. Why? Like, I know nothing about the comic, about the light elves in the comic. Are they like this? Are they mentally retarded? Are they stunted? Are they just immature? Are they idiots? Like what is this? What am I watching? Why is this happening? It makes no sense. Like, even as an idiot, you got to know that, like, by doing this, you're going to screw yourself over. Like, you think everything's a joke? You think everything's funny? I mean, okay, you're a light elf. You have absolutely no regard for the human world and their laws. Fine. Then why are you even in court? Like, if you don't give a damn about the human laws and you're just going to do what you want and, like, I've got superpowers and, I've got shape-shifting abilities, like, try and catch me. What? Then why are you even there? Like, who's forcing you to be in court? Like, are your parents like, no, you got to go to court. You screwed up. You got it. Like, why is she there? How? Like, there, again, so many questions because it's so stupid. Let's get back to Jen. So Abomination, or Blonsky, I should say, says, you know what? Let me just show you something. And he's like, I'm going to transform, and I'll show you that I'm not going to go on a rampage. And so he transforms, and everybody, specifically the people on the board, they lose their effing minds. They lose their effing minds like an alien from Alien showed up. They shit themselves. You can tell that they all shit themselves. Like, they lose their fucking minds. They just go batshit crazy. They just out of it. And the entire time, like, Jen's like, no, it's cool. And all these guards, like, come rushing in, which I don't know why they weren't already there. If this guy is as dangerous as you're making him out to be, like, why aren't there already all these guards there to begin with? Meanwhile, Blonsky's just like, yo, what's up? I'm just hanging out, just whatever. This is cool. I'm just, I hit my head on the roof, but it's good. It'll heal. I'm okay. And at one point, he stops everybody from screaming. He's like, yo, see, I'm not crazy. I'm not rampaging. I'm not. I'm not rage filled. I'm completely in control. And then he transforms back. Because this is the show where people can just transform at will easily. And everyone finally, and like the court finally, the panel finally sits back down. They regain their sanity and they sit back down. And they're like, okay, so you've proven you're good. You can go free. Is that how that works? Do you just, like... But whatever. Going back to the other trial that's happening in an actual courtroom, despite the fact that they have a pretty solid case against this light elf, that she catfished him, that she impersonated another human, which I do believe is identity theft, and then she impersonated a judge, which I do believe is a federal crime. If not a federal crime, it's at least a state crime. And that, the guy actually has documentation. Well, I did this, and I paid her this, and I gave her this. And she presented herself as, like, it's a slam dunk. I've seen stuff like, I've seen similar on Judge Judy. Like, that's a slam dunk. You've got everything that you need to win that case. But for some reason, the guy's like, we're not going to win the case. And then Jen and her girlfriend start talking shit about the guy and about how he's such a douchebag. And that he's so misogynistic, and that he is so shallow, and that he has no disregard. He has such disregard for women, and he treats them only as objects. And that also he's an idiot. Like, he is a bona fide USDA grade A certified idiot, and that he is that gullible. Because again, if you were a professional lawyer, of course you would be a moron. That if someone gave you Velcro shoes, you would have a hard time tying them. And so she goes into court as a witness, and she's questioned and basically just lambastes this guy, which is another example in this show of her just trashing men, of the show in general, just trashing men. And that wins the case. That wins the case that the other guy is an asshole, that he's a misogynist. That's just how it is. And then fast forward to she goes home, and then she's attacked by these guys with glowy stuff. And she actually makes the joke. It's like, wait, did you guys like beat up and steal an Asgardian? Did you beat up an Asgardian construction worker? And they're like, yeah. Like, they're dead serious. They're like, oh, wow, how'd you feel? She said it as a joke, and they're like, no, that's exactly what we did. So, Asgardian construction workers use maces, or they use ball and chains, and they have glowy helmets. Like, I don't remember watching any of the Thor movies, any of the 4 Thor movies, and thinking, wow, Asgardians wear a lot of glowy stuff like they're from the movie Tron. I don't remember that. Maybe I forgot it. Maybe it's a thing that I'm just blocking out. Help me out. Did Asgardians wear glowy shit? Was that a thing? Seriously. But she somehow forgot in this instance that she was She-Hulk. She's like, wait a second. Like, the guy jumps her from behind and like starts choking her, and she's like, oh wait, that's right, I'm a Hulk. You know, the thing that she's been bitching and moaning about, which I didn't even talk about that, how she's bitched and moaned all through this episode thus far. Everything. She's whining, complaining, bitching, moaning, everything. Why can't this woman be happy about anything? Ever. But she transforms into She-Hulk. And as night follows day, she wipes the floor with these guys. Whatever Asgardian weapons they have, or construction tools they have, which, let's be honest, Asgardian or not, like, construction tools are construction tools. Like, if somebody walked up to you with a crowbar, I'm pretty sure, and they smashed you in the face with it, I'm pretty sure it would sting. Or a crescent wrench. Yeah. And what's this one moron doing where he's, like, running at her like a bull or a Pachycephalosaurus, where he just puts his head down like, I'm going to hit you with this helmet. What the fuck is that? What is that? It's fucking stupid. God, it's so stupid. But, like, yeah, she just beats the ever-living shit out of these people, and they run away scared. Like, but, and that's it. That's the episode. The episode ends there. And then from there, we go to the post-credit scene, which might be the worst part of this episode, where she twerks. Like, where am I? What am I doing here? I have no memory of my life before this review. That's what this show is doing to me. This is why I didn't want to watch this show. Hate this. This is stupid. And I still got like 6 more episodes. And I've got Rings of Power after this. How long have I gone on? Longer than the episode. You know what? That's good. I don't know what else to say about how bad this episode is, this show. What are they going to do next week? What are they going to do next week? You know, Jen makes a joke, a bad joke, a self-aware joke that each episode is going to have basically a guest star. Is that what we're doing? We're having like a new guy every week or a new girl every week. They introduced some black chick in this episode who had one scene. I don't know who she is. She's going to be somebody. I don't know. That's it. I'm done. I'm burnt out. I think I'm going to get that drink now. Anyway. Yeah, that's all I got for now. I'm going to do Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power next. It might not be out until Monday or Tuesday, just because it's a 4-day weekend and I've got plans. I'll be going places. I'll show you pictures. I'm going to one of the national parks here. Actually, 3 national parks nearby. But anyway, that's all I got for now. I'll see you in the Lord of the Rings review. Have a good weekend. Talk to you later. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please hit like and subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you didn't like what you saw, well, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end, and I hope you come back because maybe I'll have a video in the future that you do like. Other than that, if anyone out there has anything that they wish that I would review, please let me know and I'll try and get to it. Other than that, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.